What's going on, everybody? It's your boy King Gabe here, and as the video you've clicked for, welcome to the history of Brownny Bee Brown. Oh yeah, yep. If you hadn't seen any of the previous videos, in one of my last slideshows where I showed him along with my other plush toys, and of course there are some shorts with him and Emily and stuff like that. But in the slideshow with him and the other plush toys, and at the end of that duck video, I mentioned that I was going to be telling about the different characters going into the Yumiko novel series, which of course includes Brownny and his plush toy friends, and also after that we will be also getting to explaining about some of the human characters as well. That was in another slideshow. So it's going to be quite a bit to unravel there. Also, as we go along, we'll also be filling you guys in on the progress of the book. As of now, it's not much, but I have gotten an introduction to the first book done, where it explains. Introduction kind of explains a little bit about how the world of Yumiko is pretty much made of dreams and imagination throughout time. No one really knows when this world actually came to be exactly, but it has been in formation for a long time, and eventually manifested to what it is in the series. So I got that going. Introduction also even has a little bit of a bio on some of the characters going into the book. One reason why, because of the fact that there's a lot of anthropomorphic animals in the book, which are the plush toys, of course. So like I say, anthropomorphic is the best thing. You gotta have that set out, somewhat set out there. Explain that a little bit, at least for my book anyway. So that's pretty much what I've got for the first book going forward. So let's talk about Brownny now. Excuse me there. So anyway, Brownnny Bee Brown. This the body he has right here. I actually got this from Build-A-Bear. This body here. And he also has other clothes that he changes in and out of there. But however, he did not look like this when I grew up with him as a kid there. This was not the body that he had way back in elementary, which is when the Yumiko series will start. It will actually start in 1995, when I was actually 7 at that time. So my character Hiko will be 7. So back then, this is what Brownny's old body looked like. See? Yeah, this is what it looked like. It was a real small body. Matter of fact, I can hold it with one hand. Yep. Yeah, and everything. And of course, you could probably tell that the old body has been through a little bit there. One of my cousins actually once had him at one point, and had to replace his nose there. That's not with a little button nose. Sort of like Frosty had a little button nose, and also his eyes, which. Now the replacement eyes, that's not on my that's not on my cousin there. That's something that happened after she gave him back to me. He had his original eyes back then, but at some point, he something happened to the eyes, and so I had to get some replacements placed in there. So I say this body has been around because he's actually in some videos on my first YouTube channel back in 2010. Some music videos I made. He was in one of them, and some pictures that I've taken with him. So, and I think also want to say during the time I wrote another book series called Heroes and Dreams. Yeah, he was in that. Um, and I kind of want to say, yeah, I think pretty much just that, and yeah, that's pretty much it there because, so I'm gonna put the old body to the side because then when I got this body for Brownie, it was right around when I was about to make a comic series called Brown Chronicles, and that was where that kind of started. Had 2 issues of that, along with the other comic that we've made, like Star Striker and, of course, Christina's Bubblina, and then eventually, and also Dora from our other writer. Only one book from her, but the but then of course eventually Brown Chronicles. I came to the decision of remaking it into what we know as Yumiko, that comic series, which was it was actually remade into Yumiko right after, pretty much after, with the COVID in 2020, because during that time of the COVID, yeah, I was had a little YouTube channel going for Brownie and everything. Brownny Bee Brown. He was reacting to movies and stuff. That went on about to 2021. Yeah, and then after that, shortly after that, that's when Brown Chronicles got remade into Yumiko. And now we're at making the Yumiko novel series because of Photoshop being lost. So, yep. So, little bit of a brief rant there, but let's go from the very beginning with Brownie now, up to now. Let's kind of going. So I named a little bit, but let's go back to where it all began in this history. So starting with, of course, the old body. Kind of interesting, up alongside each other there. Whoa. And then look at the size comparison too. Yeah, that's. Guess you could say Brownie really came up there. It's all cool though. Yeah, it sort of remind. And one thing about, like, with the bodies and stuff like that, I gotta share real quick. I always had in my one thing I imagine is that, I guess you say the soul of Brownie Bee Brown, which of course is within my imagination, of course, can actually switch between bodies. So yeah, even if something happened to these physical forms, hopefully nothing does, but if something were to, and I actually, I gotta go out and, maybe get a new body like this. At least I got pictures and stuff of them. If I had to get another one from Build-A-Bear, yep, that's where I got this one from. Yep, then his soul would then, once I get it, inhabit that body. Yep, so, yep, that's how it would work. There's two things that kind of references. One is from, not the old Pinocchio story before Disney. How that story ended where he had lived as a wooden boy for so long, and then when he became a real boy, that was him then. But his in the original story, he did not change from a wooden boy to a real boy. He was, I think the real boy body was just created, I guess, there, and he was born as this real boy magically, some kind of way, because then there's a picture where Pinocchio as a real boy looks at his wooden body over on the side. So it's so something like that. They're not sure how that went, but yeah, it's kind of like that, and also sort of like how they talk about in an episode of a show called Beast Machines once, with the sparks and bodies and stuff. So so anyway, when when I first got Brownie in the old body, of course, he was from my grandmother's house, my grandpapa's house. He was in a basket with a bunch of other plush toys, which a lot of those plush toys are the characters that's going to be in Yumiko. A lot of them were their old bodies. Yeah, now, unlike Brownie, I don't have a lot of their old bodies, but I have... excuse hate that now. Okay. So anyway, clear my throat there. So, a lot of those old bodies, most of the characters that's going to appear in Yumiko, basically, now there's probably going to be, well, a lot of them, just a lot of them in general, they're not here. They're not here. And I'll explain that as I get to the other plush toys, more about, that. But anyway, so it was him and a bunch of plush toys in a little basket at Grandpapa's house, along with this toy fire truck and other toys that me and my cousins would play with there whenever we went over to their house. And yeah, that was pretty much how that went. Came up with different stories about them and stuff like that. Imagine Brownie as a TV talk show host sometime. Sometime he would just be on different random jobs there. Then there was him, the toy fire truck that was around Granny and Papa's house. That's how you got how sometime he had like the short where I had him in a firefighter outfit there. So that's where that come from. In the Yumiko story, he is a firefighter. That's his profession. But when he's not, on duty, he does space travels for, like an extra hobby there, which led to one of the stories I once wrote for Brownie for a Disney writing contest, Brownie in Space, or should I say Brownie Goes to Uranus, which that actually is going to be that story is going to be the basis for the first book, where it's going to be called Brownie to the Rescue. So originally, Brownie Goes to Uranus. The original story was Brownie was just chilling, and he got a call from the king of Uranus stating that his daughter was kidnapped by an evil ice king there. So Brownie got in this rocket and everything, which in the Yumiko story he has a fire truck rocket. I thought that was pretty cool, fire truck turning into a rocket and everything. So he goes into space, all the way to Uranus. He gets there and battles some evil ice monsters and everything that the king that are working for the evil king. And he gets there. Now, of course, as I was writing the story, one thing, my mom is a real big help in a lot of the different things I do. Her biggest constructive criticism to me writing stories and everything, especially growing up and drawing and all that, one of her biggest constructive criticisms, which actually is a bit of a help, because it's one thing I really want to do. So kudos for this. Gabriel, aren't you ever gonna finish one of them stories? Because growing up, I had a not the one for the writing contest, but a lot of time when I just wrote stories, just for writing them around the house and stuff, I had a tendency to start, and then I wouldn't fit. Most of the time, I didn't finish, and then I ended up started another story, but I didn't finish it. I started another story, didn't finish it. So it's like when a kid be leaving the toys all around the house and they don't pick them up there. Yeah, that's one reason why she said, "Are you ever gonna finish the story first before you go starting another one?" So this is my goal for this Yumiko series, because that's kind of happened even with my published books. Like the farthest I've gotten in, writing a book series before now is, of course, the Heroes of Dream novel series. I got pretty far with that, but yeah, then I got Photoshop, and I called myself trying to, like, well, I'm gonna continue it, but make a comic version of it, and that's what brought forth the Star Striker comic series, 6 issues of it, and then I tried to start Brown Chronicles. Like, well, I'll redo Star Striker in the Brown Chronicles, which of course had Brownny in it, and after 2 issues, then got involved with him and the YouTube channel, reacting to movies, and then of course our former co-writer that got involved with it thought, like, wanted us to do skits and stuff like that, and kind of that sort of took away a lot of time from which, I mean, the reactions kind of did a little bit, but the skits took even more so. It kind of got a little hectic there, and also other things I was doing too. But yeah, so then when I finally got back to writing books, I started, like, well, I'm going to start Yumiko, so that's where I'm in now. So yeah, like my mother say, are you ever going to finish something? Well, that's my goal, to finish this Yumiko series. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty. It's gonna have quite a bit to it, but this is something I want to finish. and good Lord said the same. Make a little anime series out of it. Maybe something for y'all to stream on Netflix, or some other, or maybe Crunchyroll or something. Yeah. So anyway, but I'll try to spot y'all on Netflix though. Anyway, though, so yeah, back to the space story. So one of the suggestions my mom had in there when she was because she proofed a lot of my stuff, and she still does. She still proofreads, even like what my wife writes for Bubblina. Yeah, she pretty much our proofreader there. And also we even also I even help her out with what she writes there, because she's writing prayer journals, which y'all, there's a video of that on the channel where she had a sponsored ad for her prayer journal. So yep, so yeah, we help each other out there. Yeah, so anyway, one of the things my mom had suggested in that, well, kind of her inputs into the story was, so we would talk a lot about meditation whenever we had our Bible studies at home. We like our little personal Bibles, like what me and Christina try to do every night. That's what my mom and I grew up doing, home Bible studies, and it was as well as going to church and stuff like that. And one of the biggest things talked about was like faith and meditation. Meditate and concentrate, manifestation, things like that. So one of the things that she sort of had an input on in the story was, after Brownny, uses heat blasters to get past some of the ice monsters on the outside, there was a lot more of them in the cave. So this was so he kind of wanted to get straight to the king. So what Brownny did, he meditated so hard that he became one of the ice monsters. It worked. And he was able to just walk right past the remaining ice monsters, get right to the king, and booyah, Brownny versus the king. And instead of the king being, destroyed, he did. Instead of him destroying the king, he actually Brownny purified the king's heart. Evil King. That was another little input my mom had. Yeah, so a little purification, and the king was heart was warm, and so he then released the Ice Princess, and the day was saved. That was the big story. Unfortunately, the story did not win the contest, but I did get a complimentary pen, though. Keep keep going for it, Gabe. So yeah, that. But hey, at least I did take a shot though. So anyway, that was that, and like I say, there was some other things that I imagined Brownie in. A lot of things like that I would watch. Like I actually, let's see. At one point during well, I'll get to that in a second. But let's see. So after elementary, mostly I think after elementary, that's when I gave Brownie to my cousin Tiffany, and I still had and the plush toys I had then were the Lan Diego twins, and so and of course that'll be in another video of what their history. Basically Emily Lan Diego and her brother. So that'll be another video. So after middle school, we get to high school. For my 15th birthday, Tiffany decided to give. And speaking of birthdays, her birthday's coming up. Coming up in this. Excuse me. Yeah, pep stinks. Okay. Anyway, so her birthday will be coming up this coming Monday. I'm recording this video on a Tuesday, so Monday of next week, the 28th of August, her birthday. That'll be her birthday and everything. Yeah, and little note fact. Growing up, Tiffany did not like the fact that her birthday was in that part, especially that part of August, and that late too, because of back to school. Why couldn't my birthday be in the summertime? Sometimes things happen that way, but I know how she feels though. That's one reason why Christina wants us to have our first baby during the summertime. So our baby will have a summer birthday. Yeah. So yep. So anyway, back to Brownie. We now return to Brownny Bee Brown. And now you know. So anyway, so once I got Brownie back from Tiffany for my 15th birthday, of course there was some other things I imagined him in. One of which was sort of an adventure type story. I really wish I had it there, because I don't know if I would be able to adapt it into what I'm writing now, or how I would adapt it if I tried to, because I don't even have a copy of it. I maybe should have had a printout of it. If I did, I don't know where it's at. But the thing is, it was like, well, Gabe, wouldn't it be in your computer somewhere or on a drive? Yeah. Back in high school, this was the time when we used floppy drive disks instead of jump drives. We weren't using flash drives. We were using floppy disks still. So it was saved on a floppy disk. Go figure. So what I remember of the story, it was supposed to be like there was a it started when I was in my at school one time, and one thing I'm gonna share, and I guess you guys, because I'm pretty sure, because I be sharing these videos with my folks there, especially my mama, them, and other people. I be sending these videos to like some of my coworkers and stuff like that. Sharing around, and like I say, especially my mom. So you're gonna find out now, Mama, if you're watching this. Is back then, she didn't know about this, and not even my granny and Big Papa them knew about this. But back then, I actually would take Brownie to school with me sometimes. Not all the time, but there was some days I snuck him to school with me. There was some other plush toys I even snuck with me too. A few times I snuck Brownie and some of his other friends all at once in my backpack with my books and all of that. And it wasn't, yeah, no, it was, y'all didn't even know about it, Mama. Y'all didn't even nobody back then, but yeah, I did that. So that's my confession. as the guys say, pardon me using this example, but in like no, I'm just gonna say this. I ain't gonna say the rest of it. Flanders and The Simpsons when he say, "Pastor, I have a confession." What is it this time? Yeah, but I'm not going to repeat what Homer said after that. And please don't put it in the comments there. No. I'm only saying the part where I had a confession. So that's my confession. Yeah, and also I brought Digimon plushies up sometimes to school with me too, and my Digivices and stuff like that. But point being, I did bring Brownie to school with me a lot. Because, and this was the reason why, like, well, wait a minute, Gabe, they wouldn't allow y'all to be having no plush toys up there, and plus you're in high school. What in the world? Well, whether y'all want to believe this or not, so I say, don't really matter because it's already happened, but I'm going to say it here. I saw some of the kids at my high school, some of the other teens, bring stuffed animals with them, and some of the people that brought their stuffed animals with them, talking about the other students, to look at them. That's why they say you can't judge a book by its appearance. To look at them, you would not think that they would be ones to do something like that. Some ones that would probably be the ones to make fun of somebody bringing a plush toy to school. But some of them were bringing plush toys to school. Guy came in one of my science class. This was during junior year. So I'm pretty sure he was like 16 like me at the time. Had a big giant, I think it was either Mickey Mouse or Winnie the Pooh or Tigger. One of them. He had a big giant plush toy because he sat it in the chair next to him and was I mean, just drawing all kind of attention to himself, and nobody laughed at him or anything like that. They just, okay, he's got a plush toy with him. Okay, so I was like, well, if they can do it, I'm gonna do that too, and I sure did too. So yeah, and so one time I had Brownie in the class with me, sitting in the class with me. I had finished up one of my tests or whatever we was working on in class. I think it was my English class or something like that. So while we were waiting for the other students to finish, I had a little school hat, and I had Brownie take a pencil and put the hat in my other hand and made like the hat was a monster. And Brownie's like, "No, I'm gonna get you, So it was Brownie versus a monster hat. Yeah. So because of that, I had the idea. This is what started a Brownie story idea. That's the one that's on the floppy drive disk that is lost forever. Where this family had got this special toy box, but they didn't know it was magical. And once they got it set up in the kids' room and everything, they put a knit hat and Emily inside of the box. And when they were in the box transported them to a magical world known as the Torican world. That's what I called. That was a name for another world I had back then, was Torican world. And so the hat turned into a monster and started chasing after Emily. but then Brownie showed up as a samurai and fought the hat off there and saved Emily. And Brownie, in the story, he lived with his grandpa Ryan, who pretty much like his sensei. Young Brownie, you are wise. Like, you must make the wise choice, young one. Yeah, you know all that there. So, yeah, and then later there was a villain called Kisura that attacked with the block soldiers. Soldiers actually made out of Lego blocks. And then there was some kind of way there was a flood that happened during the battle, and the flood came out of the magic toy box on the end of the real world, which woke so the kids from the family that bought the toy box, because there was a toy box on the other end of Brownie's world. Okay, so like it's okay, like say there's a magic toy box behind me. If I were to go in it, I would pop up out of a toy box in Brownie's world, the Torican world. So, so all of a sudden, the flood comes into the box in Brownie's world, in Torican world, and pops up over here, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's a flood! Or as Brownie said in one of the reactions, I think to. I think it was Scooby at the end of Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase leading into Pirates Ahoy. What the? A tsunami warning? But that's impossible! Ah! Yeah, so something like that. So what happened then? The kids woke up, and something else happened. I think they defeated the block soldiers and got everything back in order. And the kids decided it was 3 kids. I forgot. I think they were named Hiko, Taikari, and Darius. That's what I'm thinking. They were named. Like I said, I don't have the floppy disk with me. So they went back to Torican with Brownie, and then the adventures started with the 3 kids and Brownie and all the other, especially going up against the evil Kisura. So yeah, there was that, and there was those stories, and also what else I want to say? I think anything. Oh yeah, like I say, I imagine Brownie in some things, like certain shows that I watched. Like Digimon, I imagine him as a Digimon called Brownymon in seasons 1 to. Now, granted, I did because of the fact that Tiffany had Brownie during my middle school years. My imagination of Digimon was a lot different back then. But yeah, like I say, going back, I would say as a young adult, when I was, 18, 20, 20, something like that, and making like a lot of these music videos and stuff on my old channel, yeah, I imagine Brownie as a Digimon in the different Digimon seasons that I had watched back then, including a Digimon series I had actually made up, called Digiranger. I will talk about now. Okay, I'm going to talk about that now. Anyway, well, I guess I could mention how, I'll just say the Digiranger one, cause yeah, I don't want to. Okay, yeah, just keep it with stuff outside of what's already been created. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of confusing there. And actually, there was something before Digiranger that I imagined Brownie in too. It was I call myself trying to make a Digimon series of my own, where they use what was called the Digi Advancers, which look like Game Boy Advances. Imagine that as a Digivice. And you could select what level you wanted your Digimon to go up to. So my character Jason had Brownymon as his partner, and wasn't really much to that. So yeah, go into Digiranger. Yeah, now Digiranger also used the Digi Advancer and everything, but it was a lot different. Matter of fact, you can even check if I think about if I let's say if I'll try to remember to do this, but I'll put a link to the music video from my old channel, Digiranger music video, so you can kind of see a little bit of what I'm talking about there. So how this would work? My character Jason was a cop, and he was trying to track down a criminal, but he got away. The criminal got away, and so he gets home, and his wife Catherine is, which is Christina's character, of course, was very upset because he forgot their anniversary, and so he ended up sleeping on the couch that night. And that next morning, they get attacked by Tarmon, a Digimon I made up because I hate Tar, and to defend them, Brownny shows up to try to fight off Tarmon, and eventually Jason gets what's called the Digi Advancer, which allows him and Brownny to merge together into what's called Digiranger form, which sort of makes them look like something similar to Mega Man there. So they defeat Tarmon, and yeah, that was pretty much it, other than them meeting another Digiranger named Brandon Green and his partner Demimon. Then of course, other people got Digimon and so on and so on. So that was the involvement in Digiranger with Brownie or Brownny. With that, then we came. So I think that was pretty much it that I can remember before I started writing my different books. I did come up with an idea called Power Rangers Kroger Force once, which is on my Miracle Comics channel under the history, my old story history there. But yeah, it's not much, but Brownie did have a cameo in an episode of version 2 of Power Rangers Kroger Force that also involved a crossover with SPD. So that was that, along with Dashdale. And yeah, then so that was pretty much it. And then started making the Heroes of Dream books. I got as I had finishing up book number 12. Had I continued Heroes of Dreams after that, and I gotta admit it was getting kind of cluttered, which now I'll probably in another video I will probably maybe not right away, because I want to explain stuff about like I'm talking about Brownie here and also the other plush toys, as well as more about your Miyako, and also at some point, I'm not sure when, but and that's if when and if she wants to, might hear from Christina about Bubblina. So but a little bit later on, just all depending on when. I'm not gonna say when yet. Just all depends on when we feel like it. Might go into explaining about some of my old books that I've written, like Heroes of Dreams there. So as well as about the other comic books. So yeah, had Heroes of Dreams continued past what I had wrote up to, there would have been some stuff about Brownie in that series, in some like supposed to be another world and stuff like that with another character. However, then of course, excuse me. And of course, after the Star Trek and comic books, had like I say, the Brown Chronicles, which introduced Brownie, for the first time front and center, at him and of course his human character Hiko. coming into Shreveport and meeting up with a new group of kids like Julie and Tim and Zayden and all of them, much like the novel series for Yumiko. And yeah, Brownie comes to life there and fights off some golden buffaloes and a monster called Yandan. So then, yeah, it's only two. Though that was just the first two books, and yeah, it wasn't much after that. There was development for some other books, but it never went into place. Then, of course, the Brownie reactions came through. He looked at movies, talked about them, and stuff like that, and had little skits and everything to it. There, yeah, the old channel's still up. You can go take a look at it there. But that's all I'm saying on it. But yeah, you can go take a look at the old channels and stuff there. They are still up. To see what I've come through and went through and come out of. So, like to say, always remember the journey of how you got to where you are now. So, but then of course the Yumiko comic series issue 1 and 2 came, where Brownie rescues Hiko and his friends from Nubian, of course, and introduced them to the world of Yumiko. And now you like to say, writing a novel series. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got with the Brownnny Bee Brown. Like I say, I would go into more details with some of the other things, like when I mentioned I have Magnum and Digimon and stuff like that. But other than Digiranger, yeah, like I say, it would be a much longer video. But like I say, yeah, like I say, so I kind of want to, just keep it, as brief as possible. So basically, you get the picture of what all I've imagined Brownie in there. Also to note, he likes cucumbers too. Yeah, that was I don't really like cucumbers or even pickles for that matter. But when I was a kid, that was just something at random I just came up with. Because I watched Garfield and Friend. They always talk about how how Garfield loves spaghetti, or lasagna. But in the theme song, he said, "I hope you bring lots of spaghetti." So, and pretty much everything else he can eat except for raisins. So in Brownie's case, I was like, okay, well his favorite food would be cucumbers. I just thought it. So that was just a thought at random. Brownie would really love cucumbers. So, yep, and that's probably gonna be what he really likes in the stories in the Yumiko novel series. So. There you go with that. At least he'll be eating healthy. So, that's pretty much it that I got on the subject there, on the history of Brownnny Bee Brown. Like I say, and soon we'll be having the same with, the other plush toys and characters, as well as also updates on the book series as we're coming along. Like I say, it's slowly coming, but like I say, it is being developed. The first novel and everything. So, like I say, bear with us and keep your ears for updates on that as well. And also be sure you like, share, and subscribe, and also leave some comments in the comments section there. Make sure you keep it clean though, and also. Definitely support us by getting some of our available comic books that we do have out there to help support us, as well as also supporting us on Patreon. Oh, yep, we could, even if it's just $1 a month, we could definitely be appreciated. And you can also sponsor a video as well, just like my mom and also King's Barbecue did. Shout outs would be a minimum of $5, and if you want to advertise just like hey, shout out to Bitty Bob, and if you want a one for you, like say you got a little bit like I mentioned with King's Barbecue, you got a little something going on. Just say maybe you do hair, or maybe you Maybe you just maybe you just having a corn dog stand or something like that, for example. But any personal business of yours, you want to have advertised for sponsored ad to support the channel, and also get a little, get yourself out there at the same time. That'll be a minimum of $20 for a sponsored ad video. Yep, and you can get more, but that's, yeah, per video be $20. That's the as and like I say, these are the minimum prices. So, like I say, if yeah, that's the minimum to have. Very very reasonable. So, yep, like I say, be sure to do all of that, and we will see y'all in the next video. Take care, everybody. Brownnny Bee Brown.